High-grade lithium deposits in Nigeria are receiving more global attention as President Tinubu raises bilateral conversations with the Netherlands Prime Minister Mark Rutte. APC primaries for Ondo governorship election done and dusted as the National Working Committee mends fences of broken promises. We also analyzed the People's Democratic Party, PDP National Executive Committee meeting, endorsing the continuous stay of its acting national chairman against the call for him to step aside. Also on political update today, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission remains resolute, intensifies fight against corruption, but what are the impediments? These are more on our lineup. I'm Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. President Bola Tinubu has once more assured the international community that Nigeria is well positioned to power the clean energy future of Europe and the world with high-grade lithium deposits in Nigeria. President Tinubu made the commitment in his bilateral conversation with Prime Minister Mark Rutte on his state visit to the Netherlands.
President Bola Tinubu's earlier visit to the G20 summit in India in September last year is still yielding results. Destiny perhaps brought the Nigerian leader together with Prime Minister Mark Rutte of the Netherlands. The short tete-a-tete has led to a bigger diplomatic opportunities for the two leaders. And then, the Chief Marketing Officer of Nigeria is cashing in on this invitation to take the bilateral and trade relations with one of his country's largest business partners even higher. The president, as narrated by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, proudly presented the immense opportunities Nigeria offers across a pool of sectors and that his administration is deepening reforms to enhance the investment climate. He said Nigeria seeks robust, balanced, and mutually beneficial partnerships that will bring about value addition in areas like solid minerals. President Tinubu also asserted that Nigerians have tremendous confidence in themselves and that his confidence in the Nigerian people gave him the courage to take difficult decisions on their behalf, given his full awareness of the need to give Nigerians the long-term tools they need to succeed. President Tinubu expressed determination to continually take difficult decisions that will benefit his people, as he assured that Nigerians will be adequately rewarded in due course. His host noted that President Tinubu's economic reforms have engendered greater confidence in the Nigerian economy by international investors and that Dutch investors have activated another set of $250 million worth of new investments over the next few months, including a $100 million investment in a waste-to-wealth industrial facility in Lagos State. The Prime Minister lauded President Tinubu's national and regional efforts as he promotes democratic governance and the solution it can bring in dealing with problems of development. And then, the Nigeria-Dutch Business Forum would streamline the new areas of collaboration. Here, President Tinubu further expressed his firm commitment to develop the partnership between the European Union, EU, and Nigeria, noting that symbiotic economic ties remain the best long-term path to sustainable and mutual prosperity rather than one-sided relationships in which bilateral trade is skewed too much in one direction.
To politics now, the National Working Committee of the Governing All Progressives Congress has urged all the 15 aspirants who wrestled for the party's governorship ticket with the incumbent governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, to reconcile their differences and rally around the party's standard bearer. National chairman of the party, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, says the National Working Committee of the party will continue to engage with them and other stakeholders to ensure that the APC retains power in the state and preached peace, unity and sacrifice at all times. The Deputy National Publicity Secretary and State Chairman of All Progressives Congress later addressed the media after a closed-door session was held with all the aspirants and presented two key resolutions reached by the NWC.
Sure. Your prayers is that our party, your party, should be the ruling party in Ondo State. I think that's a common fulcrum. All of you, our party should be a ruling party.
Because of complaints that trailed the outcome of the primaries by some of the aspirants, that there is the need for the party to continue dialogue with all the aspirants individually and collectively.
The governor, Lucky Ayédátiwa, was there. It is mandatory that immediately we must commence the all-inclusive government. Both the aspirants and other members of our party in Ondo State.
A former deputy governor of Ondo State, Agbola Ajayi, has emerged the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, ahead of the November 16 governorship election in the state. He polled 264 out of 619 votes through an indirect primary election held in Akure.
The number of 621 delegates out of the 627 proposed from the 18 local government areas of the state were thoroughly accredited and thereafter cast their ballots in the presence of party agents, electoral officers, observers, journalists, and the 7 governorship aspirants of the party. There were 2 invalid votes, one for over-thumb printing, and the other was blank. After several hours of voting, sorting and counting, the chairman of the 7-man governorship primary election committee and deputy governor of Bayelsa State announced the winner.
By virtue of the results, Ajayi Alfred Agbola, having scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner of this primary and hereby declared the candidate of the People's Democratic Party for the November 2024 election.
Of our parties for putting in place a transparent process to get this level. All of us are winners, and it's a victory for democracy.
Agbola Ajayi, by this emergence, has joined the governorship candidates of the other political parties in the race to become the governor of Ondo State come November 16th.
And now to anti-corruption efforts. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says it is intensifying the fight against corruption in the country and remains resolute in scaling all impediments on its way to achieving its mandate. The chairman of the commission, Olalokoede, says this new impetus has yielded results as almost 120 billion naira has been recovered, with more than 1,600 convictions secured since he assumed office.
The eagle in the EFCC symbol seems to have zeroed its eyes on executives who have abused their offices by diverting funds earmarked for the people. A bold resolve that may meet resistance. This has become evident to the Commission's helmsman. He says he is not sweating.
If EFCC fails, I've not failed. I've never failed and I won't fail. It is all of us. It is Nigeria that has failed. If we lose this battle, it's not about Ola Olukoyede. Neither is it about any of my officers here. It's about all of us.
The chairman reveals that Nigeria is facing a staggering onslaught of cybercrime, where more than 70% of the country's companies became victims, leading to the loss of $706 million. This, he says, requires all hands on deck to combat corruption in the country.
Do you know now all over the world that cybercrime is the 3rd largest GDP, attracts the 3rd largest GDP in the world? Go and do your research. Attracts as much as $14 trillion, the 3rd largest GDP, after US, China, in cybercrime. And you want us to sit down here and close our eyes to that?
On the prosecution of former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello, the chairman reveals that the commission has followed due process to ensure that the former governor honors the commission's invitation, but he declined and chose to run from the law.
We are not stopping there. He's been watch listed all over the world. He can only run Let the whole public hear. We are building a case against those who obstructed justice. You are sitting, you have immunity today, you won't have immunity forever.
Meanwhile, to match words with action, the Commission handed over 14 properties to Enugu State government, following a final forfeiture of the properties to federal government by the courts.
The ceding of these assets back to the state will deploy them to the benefit of the people of Enugu State.
While the fight against corruption is a collective responsibility, the EFCC says it will continue to beam its searchlights on all sectors of the economy.
All right, joining us in the studio to discuss some of the issues raised in the reports we've wrote so far is former member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Sam Onuigbo. Welcome again to Political Update.
Thank you.
So many things to talk about, but let's start from EFCC's efforts to perhaps make sure that, erring executives or those who have occupied, serious key positions in the country balance the books.
Well, I think we all have a duty to support the EFCC to ensure that those who are given the opportunity to serve, that they serve honestly, and that if the need arises, then they should be held accountable. It's something all hands must be on deck. Why this is important is because when there's an image, an appearance, that's a free-for-all, it does not really bode well for the nation. The other thing is that once you are given a position to serve, you are elected out of either millions of people. If you're a state governor, you are a member of the House of Reps, Senator, House of Assembly, and all that. You are not the only one in the state, but the people yielded their own opportunity to contest for the position to allow you to serve. So you have the responsibility to serve well. And we want good governance. And that's why thinkers like James Harrington talked about tenure. You have to have a tenure within which you serve, within which you come to renew your mandate, and after that, then there should be accountability. So it's important that we support the EFCC to ensure that we build a great nation for all of us.
All right, let's move on because, of course, it's an ongoing story. We'll see how that unfolds. So many names being mentioned, and we'll see how much of that will be brought, the number that will be brought to book eventually, and those, of course, who will also get their names cleared. Now, let's talk about politics proper. With the forthcoming governorship election in September 21, INEC on Monday released the list of the final list of 17 candidates, one female. An case that campaign will begin on Wednesday, the 24th of April, 2024. What are your expectations? You are one of the people who bettered this, new, perhaps laws guiding our electoral processes. How do you see this thing unfolding? Are we learning from some of the things that used to be our bad habits in the past? So what are your expectations, especially starting with the Edo, and of course, eventually, of course, a month after, we'll have Ondo elections as well?
My expectations are really high. Why? Because after we enacted the Electoral Act 2022 and the bill was assented to by the former president, it was so close to when we started the primaries of 2023, so there were some uncertainties. But over time, people have studied the provisions of the Electoral Act, and they are trying to comply, to make sure that they are aligned with the provisions. That way, I also expect that now that we're moving into general elections proper, that people are going to focus, particularly the candidates, on key issues that affect the people that are going to come out either in the sun or in the rain to vote for them. These are the issues they should really canvass. So I expect them to be focused. And of course, having practiced democracy for nearly 25 unbroken years, we should be expecting our bar to go up and not to go down.
All right, but in terms of, some of the things we've seen, especially from the leg of it in terms of the primaries. Some had to do it twice and all that. Does that put them well for the elections itself? Because it was keenly contested and there were some underhanded actions as well, alleged underhanded actions in some parties before eventually the candidates emerge. Are there any fears as far as the main election is concerned?
Well, elections, especially in developing countries, come with a lot of challenges. That is basic. However, I made a point here that something you've been practicing for 25 years. Naturally, we would like to see steady improvement because we are not planning to drop the democratic process. So despite those events that happen, I think right now we finish with the primaries, we're into general elections, and all hands should be on deck to ensure that we have a process that is reliable.
All right, let's take one other story. We'll come to one of the key issues, of course, also raised by the president in his visit to the Netherlands. So we'll mention that. I will go there very shortly. But let's take our next story. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, at its 98th National Executive Committee meeting recently, where it endorsed the continuation in office of the party's acting national chairman, Ambassador Umar Iliya Damagu, against the agitation of in some quarters for him to step down. This development observed by many as not perhaps not in the best interest of the party, and spoke about maybe some consequences in terms of how things will play out. Let's take that report. We'll be back.
Few days to the PDP National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja, some PDP House of Representatives members under the banner of Opposition Lawmakers Coalition had threatened to dump the party if acting national chairman Umar Damagu was not replaced with someone from the North Central.
Immediate resignation of Umar Iliya Damagu as acting national chairman of PDP for anti-party activities and allow North Central produce the acting chairman as clearly stated in the PDP constitution, or watch us reconsider our membership of the party in the months ahead if the right thing is not done.
And that was not all.
Recalling the events that led to the ousting of the former chairman of the party in person of His Excellency Senator Yoshe Ayu, the current acting chairman has spent over a year in office, whereas, as the usual practice of the party, the region from whence the national officer hails from should have produced a viable candidate to complete the tenure of the former national leader. Furthermore, the contentious issue surrounding the office of the National Secretary has regrettably sown seeds of discord within our party. The ambiguity surrounding this position has led to confusion and internal strife.
Chairman of the PDP Board of Trustees, Senator Adolphus Wabara, speaking on the controversy surrounding the offices of the party's national chairman and secretary. Like Wabara, so many others are also concerned about the party's inability to bring on board the replacement of Senator Yoshe Ayu from his geopolitical zone. Expectedly, some leaders of the PDP in Imo State, led by former Governor Emeka Ihedioha, have resigned from the party to express their anger at the direction of the main opposition party. His resignation was contained in a letter to the chairman of the party in his Mbutu ward, Abombese local government area of Imo State. The letter, dated April 23, 2024, was copied to the state chairman of the party, the national chairman, and the chairman of the party's board of trustees. In it, the former deputy speaker of the House of Representatives hinged his resignation on the PDP's inability to embark on internal reforms, enforce its own rules, and offer credible opposition to the ruling party. Also, Southeast geopolitical ex-official member Stanley Ekeze announced his resignation from the party, and the Imo State legal advisor of the PDP, Kisinga Ikeokwu, has also resigned. They alleged that the PDP has lost focus at both the national and in Imo State.
Thank you, Timothy. We will be looking and interrogating some of these discussions in our subsequent programs. So before I let you go, Honorable Nubu is still right here. You are in Abu Dhabi over the weekend, and you were speaking about some of the opportunities in the climate change, conversation. Very quickly, can you enumerate?
Well, thank you. I was in Abu Dhabi for the IRENA, that's International Renewable Energy Agency, 14th Assembly. And also built in there is the Legislators Forum of that arm. And then Regional Energy Transition Outlooks, focusing on Africa. So these things we are put together. Essentially, it's just to look at how we can use or leverage renewable energy to bring about better life for people.
How are we doing in this sector in Nigeria, very quickly?
Oh, well, we are doing well in that, apart from our energy transition plan, we have we've taken a profound step of amending the Constitution to remove electricity from the exclusive list and then now move it to concurrent list. And that's what has empowered states like Ekiti, Enugu, and the rest of them to begin to make their own efforts on how they can generate electricity. In addition to that, the Electricity Act, which the 9th Assembly passed and was assented to by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu just about a few days after he assumed office on the 8th of June, has also provided extensively for renewable energy to be part of the energy mix. And what this has in stock is for us to be able to serve the unserved areas or areas that are difficult to access through mini-grid, off-grid solutions. So this way we are moving, and that's why in one of the presentations I made, I called on the international community for them to take advantage of the population we have here that do not have access to electricity, and then invest now before maybe they make the mistake they made when we were privatizing our telecommunications industry. So we have wonderful opportunity. And of course, just last week or so, the federal government launched the Clean Cooking national policy. That way, now that we're moving towards reducing challenges that come from, using firewood, charcoal, and all the rest of them. They bring health problems. Where you don't have this access, you are dealing with poverty, illiteracy, and a lot of lack. So these are things that we're doing to move in the proper direction. And it's all in line with what the International Renewable Energy Agency has been, working towards, so that we can triple, renewable energy by 2030.
That has been Political Update. Many thanks for interventions as usual. Honorable Sam Onuigbo, we wish you the very best. We'll be looking out at some of your efforts in that sector, as well as your contributions also to Northeast Development, of which you are a member of that board. That has been Political Update for today. We'll be back again on Tuesday for a fresh package. Between now and then, please play your politics for the greater good and keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's finest and largest, for news, reviews, views, and previews. Bye-bye now.